I would say like
Crazy.
six,
So you
seven
went
months.
from 0 to 10K in 7 months.
Yeah, 7 months.
All right, guys, we got someone very special, someone that has inspired me, someone that has done the unthinkable, so to speak. We got Julian in the chair today, but before we get started, I would love to do a quick little intro. My name is Alexi. I own one of the largest online platforms for barbers. It's called Learn to Cut, where we helped over 600 barbers internationally get to a point where they have financial freedom, they have time freedom, and they're able to scale their businesses with ease and with clarity. So before we get into it, guys, I want to make a quick intro of Julian as well, because his story is insane. So before Julian joined, it's funny, bro. You know what's crazy? I actually watched our Fathom call, or like recording of me telling you, we had this conversation before you joined the program.
Yeah.
Like, look, dude, I'm like, I don't know about this program. Like, I trust you, but it's like, can you really help me? And these were the questions you were asking. And I said, bro, because this was the point when you said, yeah, I'm ready. I'm going to move. I'm going to make this move. And the biggest win I could get from this is if I make the move, I could get to the position I was in the other city you were living at. And bro, you achieved that. And I think you probably excelled that. So it's crazy to say. So for people that don't know and that don't have context, Julian, before joining, wanted to move to Dallas. What city were you living in before, Julian? Houston. So you were a completely brand new city. And at this point, when you were in Houston, you already had a pretty busy clientele, right? Like you were making pretty good income, right?
Yeah. So when I was living in Houston, I think I was averaging around 1,200 a week. And
Wow.
it was like $35 to $40 haircuts. With the beard, it was like $55 or $60. I was doing like 35 haircuts a week, like 35, 40 haircuts a week. I mean, like you stay busy,
Exactly.
But I was working like a lot of hours. So it was tough. Like my haircuts were a little bit longer. I was working a lot. So it would end up being like 5-6 days I was working, but only making like 1,200,
right?
1,300 a month or a week.
Which is good money, which is pretty good money for
Yeah,
most barbers, right?
Of course, yeah.
So knowing that, right, like you're making a really good income. You've obviously been in the industry for a couple of years. Like, why'd you want to make the move to Dallas? What was the reason behind that?
So I was feeling for a few months prior to like me trying to decide if I wanted to make this decision. I was feeling very, I guess, stagnant and very comfortable in basically my situation I was in. I didn't feel very, I guess, content or happy. Well, I was content, I was content with the life that I had, but I wasn't happy when I was cutting hair. It was the same haircuts. It was mostly like repetitive. I got tired. I got tired, burnt out.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of barbers feel the same way. It was just the same thing over and over. And I was like, this can't be the only thing that comes with just barbering, Like I was like, dude, I love what I do, but this can't be the only thing that is for me, So I was like, I need to switch up, I need to get out of my hometown. I grew up in Houston, so I was like, I need to switch. I need to be out of my hometown. I can't have like my family or my friends just like giving me a lot of like, I guess, opinions of what they think. Yeah. So I was like, dude, I need to go out and see if I can truly do it, right? Like, I want to be able to start from zero. I told myself, I was like, I want to be able to start from zero and build up to 10K a month. That was like my goal. I was like, I want to hit 10K a month, but with zero. Like if I can do it in a new city, not having any clients like prior, I was like, I can do it anywhere. I can do it again and again and again. It doesn't matter, right? So that was like my whole motive behind it. And yeah, I had a dream and I was like, I'm going to do it all in, right?
I love it. And I'm going to circle back to that. But how long did it take you to get to 10K a month in Dallas after you completely moved out there?
Oh man, after I completely moved to Dallas, it took me like 7 months.
Crazy.
Like 6, 7
so you went from 0 to 10K in 7 months.
Yeah, 7 months. So I remember it was crazy because the first, like I planned everything, right? Like I would take trips to Dallas on the weekend while I was still in Houston because I needed to find a barbershop. I was like, okay, I need to be in a place where I feel like environment is everything, right? Like, especially for me is like, I didn't want to go back to the same environment that I was in. So I'm like, I'm going to move to a new environment. I'm going to change everything about my life. Like, the comfortability is not going to be in my life anymore. I'm going to push myself. So I have to be in a good environment. I have to be surrounded by people that are like-minded. They, money's moving, like everything had to change from my prior situation. So I went, looked for a good barbershop. I found the perfect barbershop and I was like, all right, this is where I'm going to be at. I remember the first week, the booth rent was $250.
Yeah.
Since then, the booth rent has increased to $300, but back then it was $250 booth rent a week. And I remember the first week I was there, I only had like 2 clients.
Wow.
And the whole week I only made like $100 or something. And it was crazy because I was like, bro, this is insane. Like what happens?
What a big change.
Yeah, what a big change.
Yeah. Like, holy shit, I just made $200 this week.
Yeah, and I remember too, because it was like the two clients that came in were the only people I knew in Dallas, which were my friends. Like they moved to Dallas, and then those were the only two people that came in that week. Like the barbershop was very slow, didn't have any walk-ins. I was like, bro, this is crazy. Like the whole week I only have like 2 or 3 haircuts. And I remember the next week after that, it was same thing, like 2 or 3 haircuts. But I was like, I was willing to make it work, right? Like I was like, okay, whatever I have to do, I'm gonna go all in, I'm gonna do it, right? I'm gonna start, educating myself. Like I know that scissor work is something that barbers do not know how to do. If I can master scissor work, I can understand the market, and I can be the one barber that stands out of the crowd. So I was like, okay, let me go in, watch video after video after video, and just practice. I had the mannequin. I bought like a few mannequins on Amazon, and I was like, bro, let's go. Like keep practicing. I would join the calls when I had a chance, and then kept going, like just watching every single video that popped up.
So, dude, I want to circle back. This is incredible, by the way. Yeah. But I want to circle back to that moment, because here's what you said it as well. A lot of barbers probably feel burnt out. A lot of people, feel like they're not really seeing the end of the tunnel. What was the straw on the camel's back for you when it came to making that decision of moving to Dallas? Like, was there a specific moment? Something happened in your life? What was like the deciding factor of like, yo, fuck it, I'm gonna just make this move? What was that? Is there a moment that changed?
I think it was like, I remember one time a client just talked to me, and I was like, man, like I want to go up in prices. And he was just telling me, he was like, man, like you're already charging like $60 for haircut and beard. And I was like, yeah, you're right. And then he was like, this is kind of expensive for me. Like, I don't think I could do this. I was like, bro, that's crazy. Like I see so many barbers online. Like in my head, I was like, I see so many barbers online, like charging $80, $100, like, and people are coming in and paying that. So I was like, why does he not understand this? And to me, it was like, I thought in my head, I was like, I'm sure one of my clients are going to feel the same way toward like as he did. But then I was like, why am I even thinking like this? Like, why is this the first thing that pops to my head? Like, why can't I get out of that like negative mindset? And I was like, I can't be surrounded by this anymore. This is my time to make a change, right? And the only biggest change that drastically I could think of was like, okay, I have to move to a city. Like, I've never done that before. I don't know what it's like. Let's do it. Like I have to get uncomfortable. I can't be sitting here being comfortable, and wondering what would have happened if I never made a change, So that's kind of what I guess broke me into like.
That was the last straw. Yeah.
Yeah, the last straw. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. And what's crazy is you pretty much doubled your income in 7 months. So let's talk about that, right? So you're in Dallas, first weekend, $200. Now you're practicing on mannequin heads. You're practicing with scissor work, right? When did you see clients coming in? What do you think for you was the biggest lever that you pulled to be able to get busy at those price points?
So I think the craziest thing for me was coming from Houston. I had a lot of people saying that haircuts were too expensive, right? In Houston, it was a different mindset. The clients were a different mindset. But I moved to Dallas, and just like you told me earlier, it was like Dallas is a very moving money city, right? And I remember thinking to myself, because I was still charging $40 at the barbershop, and I didn't go up in price at that point because I was scared, I was like nervous. And I remember the owner in that barbershop, he was charging $60 a haircut, $70 haircut and beard, but he was always had people coming in, right? Like he was, he has to keep the barbershop afloat. He has to have enough clients to sustain. So I noticed that all of his clients were coming in, and sometimes they would be weekly clients. Like a lot of his booking was weekly clients. And I was like, why is he getting booked when I charge less and I am cheaper? Like I'm cheaper than he is for a haircut. And I was like, this doesn't make much sense. Like it doesn't make sense why he's getting more booked than I am. Like I should be getting more booked if I'm cheaper. I'm the cheaper alternative. People should come. But I noticed that people in Dallas, apparently, like where I'm from, they carry themselves differently. They want to buy higher end stuff, right? Everything's more expensive in Dallas. They go towards more money. They go towards more like eating at restaurants. I noticed that people wear nicer clothing, like they have nice jewelry, or maybe they present themselves in a better way, right? So they want to feel that higher class. So I took that into effect because I was like, man, people actually like care about their appearance, and they want to spend money. Like it's not like the market's not there for it. The market's there. They want to spend the money. So I'm like, what can I do to make myself stand out? And I was like, I have to match the market. I have to match the market, right? So I got really good with shears, at least as good as I felt comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, I have to get somewhat good so I feel comfortable and confident charging that amount.
So for you, it was like you probably could have charged the price you wanted to, but you would have felt way more confident. You would have been a lot happier charging what you ended up charging based on just increasing your skill set.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, let's go up. right? So from 40, I went from 40 to 45. It was like a $5 jump, right?
How quickly did that happen?
That was like the first 3 weeks, the first 3 or 4 weeks. I was like, I need to go up at least something, right? So I went $45. And then from there, I was like, let's just get as many clients as I can, right? So people started coming in, walk-ins, I posted on social media a lot. So that's how I got a lot of like my clients. And then from there, I made a jump within the next 3 to 4 months. I was like, okay, let's go to 60, right? Let's do that bigger jump where I'm like now matching the market value. And this is what people are willing to charge for, or they're willing to pay for it, right?
Yeah.
And I noticed that people started coming back more frequently because people were like, okay, I'm paying for something and it makes sense and it costs more, right? So for some reason, I don't know what it was, but people just wanted to pay more for a haircut. And that's just what it was, It almost seemed like cheaper meant that it was worse.
Right. Yeah.
More expensive meant that it was better. Doesn't mean more expensive is better, but in people's eyes and clients' eyes, it's like more expensive equals better. And cheaper means it's bad. So it's like, it's weird.
And you would think, because people's concept is like, okay, if I go cheaper, more people are willing to come because, people are willing to pay the price. But dude, it's all perception. If you have enough value, at the end of the day, I always say this, people always complain about $100 haircut. And that's all, most of the times it's the barbers, not clients complaining. There's always going to be people complaining and they don't want to pay that, but they don't see the value in it. But the worst is if the barbers are also complaining about other barbers charging that price point. Because what you don't realize, everyone has $100 to spend on a haircut. Like $100 is not $10,000, right? So the issue is you just have to show the value where people are willing to pay that. So for you, it was that, right? You're like, okay, there's a gap. And the gap is that if I could, not just show fades, but show my skill set based on longer styles and scissor work, then they're able to see the value. And then this is how I probably could push volume, which is probably what happened. Yeah. So you probably got a lot busier because of the fact that you stood out. Because you weren't just showcasing what everyone else in Dallas was doing. Is that right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Like I said before, the scissor work was something that a lot of barbers in Dallas were struggling with. Yeah. So I saw the opportunity to almost take care of that market that people weren't optimizing for. And I was like, okay, let me grab some of this, know? And from there, it was just easy.
So let me ask you this. So at this point, right, let's go back a little bit as well. Even before that, you're deciding to make the decision to move to Dallas. You're in Houston. But what made you like jump on a call with me? What made you like think of like, okay, like maybe Learn to Cut has the answers I need before I make this decision? Obviously, there's a lot of programs out there. What was the reason behind us?
Oh, man. I had seen your videos a lot on Instagram, and I like the way you cut. I always thought that scissor work was something important. I just never took classes. I never took any classes. Like prior to moving to Dallas, or even like before when I was in Houston, I never took classes. I was just like, okay, let me learn by myself. My brother had long hair. Right. So I'm going to practice scissor work with my brother, right? Just practicing on him. But I would watch YouTube videos and stuff, but it wasn't really like that detailed, right? And then I hopped on a call with you because I saw the potential, right? Like I was like, I'm going to make this huge decision, but I can't feel alone in making this decision, right? Like it's a huge decision for me, but I want to make sure that I have some help, right? I can't just go, because everybody was telling me, like, yo, like, do you have a plan? Like, do you have this? And I did have a plan. Like I knew where I was going to work, what I was going to do, but I wanted to make sure that I had enough like help when it comes to barbering, like somebody that was an expert and knew what they were doing. So that's why I was like, okay, if I'm going to make a decision like this, I need to make sure that I have somebody to at least help me.
On my corner to mentor you through this process.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And Julian, what would you say was, at what point throughout the program did you feel like, holy cow, like this is working? Holy cow, I'm getting clients, and holy cow, this was worth the investment? Like when was that like clear for you?
I guess I was pretty skeptical at first in the beginning, just because it's new, I remember, that was my first like huge investment. Like my car was my parents' car. It was paid cash. Like I never bought it. I never owned like a house or anything. I never made huge payments on like, clothes or like jewelry and stuff. But this was like the one thing where I was like, this is a change. And I was like, this is a huge investment. And I was like, it has to work. Like, it has to work. Like, not even from y'all's side. I guess for me, it was like
you had to make it work.
To make it work. Yeah. Like, doesn't matter what happens. Doesn't matter what's in this course. This course can be absolute, complete bullshit. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm this, for me, that amount that I was paying, or like what the investment was.
There's no plan B.
It was commitment. Yeah. It was commitment. It was what it was. Clear commitment to what I was doing. And there's no going back from it. So for me, that's when everything changed, and I was like, okay, this is going to work regardless. And the videos in there were very useful. Like everything was clear, concise. I knew it was going to help me. So I was like, okay, let me just keep practicing, right? I noticed I think by one of my first like scissor cuts in Dallas, just only like scissor cuts, like he only came in for like a scissor, no fade. Yeah, no fade or nothing. So he came in and he was like, man, like I can really tell like you've been practicing and you know what you're doing, you know? Like I can tell from your videos, I can tell from how you carry yourself that you know that what you're doing and you've practiced this. And I was like, dude, this is working. You know, somebody
acknowledged it.
Yeah, somebody acknowledged it. Somebody understands what I'm going through. So at least somebody gets it, right?
Exactly.
So that was my point of like, okay, I have to just keep posting. I have to keep working. And people are going to ultimately see what I'm doing, you know? So that's kind of when I thought, you know, it was actually working.
And that's amazing, bro. And that really means a lot coming from you. So I think what's important for people to know now. So at this point, you're how many months or years are we into Dallas?
We're a year,
12 months. Yeah,
12 months.
So 12 months, you know, have passed by. Where are you at financially? Like, what are you doing now, numbers wise? Like, what does the next steps look like? And how are you feeling being in a brand new city?
Yeah. So like I said, it was a change. It was a change at first. I had to get used to it. You know, now 12 months later, you know, after moving from Houston, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling really good. Now we're doing numbers like 3,000, 3,200 a week. I consistently now for the past month have been making like 3,000 to 3,200 a week.
Wow.
So it kind of varies, but that's basically pretty much what I'm making a week. And then on top of that, you know, I kind of talked to you last month, but I've already done like 3 classes, I think, here in Dallas. Yeah, 3 classes. I'm doing 1 class tomorrow, actually.
Wow.
Like a private barbershop class, but they pay me like a certain fee, and that adds to like the income in my roster. But I did a class last month, and that one was ticket based, had like 15 people show up. So
wow.
You know, it's crazy. It's crazy because I didn't think I would be able to do something like this, you know. But yeah, I have like 40 to 45 clients coming every week, and like a lot of them are weeklies, to be honest. But
dude, I'm speechless because I think back when we jumped on a call, I think we like brushed up on the idea of you becoming an educator, and now you're kind of like doing classes like pretty consistently. I knew that was one of your goals, right? And obviously the financial part was a goal, but I think more than that, you were like, okay, at some point you're gonna get capped with the money by cutting behind the chair, and you're like, what's the next thing for me? But I think something that I recognized even when we were in Austin for the event, for the Learn to Cut event, was that you are very much into self-development. Like you do, I think, care a lot about that. And I think for you education is part of that. It's just developing yourself as another individual and building new skill sets. And I think that's probably why you like doing the education, which ties into the next question I have for you. I guess, you know, now you're in Dallas, you're making a great income. What is really next for you? Like, what is the next big thing you're chasing? What is the next big goal of yours?
So I've noticed that teaching is a lot different. It's a lot different than just cutting hair, right? And cutting behind the chair. 100%. So that is a very big challenge for me, to be honest with you. So I really am in the same spot when I left Houston, is like, I'm looking for more challenge. I'm looking for that uncomfortability. And I remember the first class I did, this was a while back, but I was in Houston. I went back to Houston and I did a free class during the 12 months. Like I moved, you know, to Dallas, but I went back to Houston, went to my old barbershop and taught a class. I noticed how much different it is to actually teach, you know, and it made me uncomfortable because I wasn't used to public speaking and speaking in front of crowds. And I was very nervous. I was very, you know, uncomfortable. And that's what I'm chasing, I'm chasing that uncomfortability. And that's what's next for me. And I want to host more classes. I really want to get consistent at doing 1 class every month. And the next thing is opening a barbershop. So I'm pretty adamant about wanting to create an environment that is, you know, keen on learning and keen on being a better barber, and not just a better barber, but a better individual. So hopefully, you know, within the next 6 to 7 months, I would like to have that barbershop open, have a few barbers in there, at least like 7 to 8 barbers, and just have that. So
like, think about it. In let's say a year and a half, and I think you are going to make it happen. If I know something about you, I definitely know if you say 6 months you're going to open a shop, I truly believe you will have a shop in 6 months. But it's crazy to think like people don't realize, like, you could have been in a new country. A new city is pretty much a new country. It is really starting from scratch. And the reason why is because your clients, you got to build a brand new clientele in a brand new city that no one really knows. It's not like you had 1 million followers on Instagram as well, right? Like, you literally had to start from zero. Maybe you had obviously some skill from cutting, but that was really it. That was your arsenal. And just now a plan on what you need to do based on systems to be able to attract clients. But bro, it's crazy to say in a year and a half to get to the income you got to, and now opening a shop, that is probably the fastest I've ever seen someone be able to do that. So I think as someone that's probably like working really hard every day, that's, you know, always like, you know, chasing the next thing, I have to say, bro, I'm very, very proud of you, and you should be proud of yourself because that's unheard of. Not everyone gets to, be able to achieve things like that. So, and I'm very excited, bro. I'm excited for what the next steps are going to look like for you. And I'm sure I'm going to hear a lot more successes come from it. And for the education, or if there's any advice I could give you, just do it as consistently as you can. Like, education is literally one of those things. It's like practicing a muscle, right? It's like cutting hair. So any opportunities you get, whether it's paid or not paid, or like less paid or whatever, just put yourself, just practice that muscle. But I'm very excited for your growth, man. I'm very excited to see what you do next. And if you have any last messages for anyone watching, what would you tell them?
Bro, if anybody's watching and they just feel stuck in what they're doing, just know that there is a way out of where you're at, and you just have to take that step. It's all about taking the first step. That's the hardest step, is that first step. And I think you've talked about it before, but
yeah,
first step is the hardest step. After that, everything becomes easier because you have no other way of going back.
Exactly.
Right? You go forward. That's the only way. And you continue to go. Social media is your best friend. I feel like a lot of people feel like they need to have 1 million followers, 500,000 followers, whatever you think is a lot of followers. You don't need that. I have, I think, 3,000 followers, and it's nothing like compared to like all of these other guys. I mean, I still think it's a lot of followers, but that doesn't matter. Like, I built a full clientele, 100+ clients in the past year with 3,000 followers, and maybe grown like 200 followers
and making 10K a month with 3,000 followers.
Yeah, it's all about how you structure the content. It's all about how you structure the content.
And dude, one thing, if you guys, and by the way, what's your Instagram for people to check you out so they understand like what your content looks like?
So what is it? juju.cuts. Juju.cuts. And the craziest part was that you need to like, if anybody's watching this and they're just trying to figure out how to do content, like, don't even focus on, I guess, what barbers want to see. Focus on what clients want to see.
There we go.
Because everybody's like, oh, I want to be famous on Instagram. I want to start making money from social media. Make money from what you already know is your talent, right? Yeah. And you can obviously scale and raise prices. And, obviously look at me, like I'm doing classes, right? There's other ways to make money using the skill that you have, but you don't need 1 million followers to make money online. It's all about like how you structure it and focus on getting clients in your chair, and that's it.
It's positioning and messaging. The right message will bring in the right clients. And Julian, one thing I will give you credit, and this is where I think you could help these guys as we're talking about some advice here. A lot of people would watch your stuff and be like, how the fuck is Julian so comfortable on camera? Like, what do you do to remove fear? Like, what is your tactics? Like, what is the mindset that you have behind like putting yourself on camera?
To be honest, this is a hard question because I get this asked a lot. But I used to shoot like YouTube videos. I used to do like challenges online. Like, I used to be in front of the camera before I moved to Dallas.
Right.
But I think the easiest thing, and me and my brother would go back and forth about this, is you just have to treat the camera like it's not there. I know it's really hard, but you also, if that doesn't work, treat it like it's somebody that you feel very close to. Like, maybe it's your brother or your family member, or maybe it's like a best friend. Just picture the camera is your best friend. And then it's like, it's easy for you to talk to the camera,
Yeah.
But I would say first things first, like, just don't even think that it's there.
Yeah. Or like you said, replace that camera with a friend of yours, someone that you feel comfortable with. Because when we put the camera on, it looks like the biggest monster on planet Earth that's judging us, right? Rather than use your exactly. Dude, again, last message. Very proud of you. I can't wait to see what's next. Guys, check him out on Instagram. What is it again?
Juju.cuts. JUJU.cuts. Yeah.
All the way from Houston, guys.
Sure.
Julian, thank you very much, bro. I'll catch you soon.
This guy is the man. Whoever, you guys got to do this, man, because he takes pride in the amount of work that he's put behind this is insane. I couldn't be blessed with another mentor by my side. So this guy's the real deal. I know, it may seem crazy online, but he does it because it's part of the process, and he's going to show you exactly how to get to where I'm at. This isn't crazy. I was just making numbers like anybody else, but yeah, this is insane, man. Thank you.
Julian, brother, appreciate you. Thanks for your time.
Yes, sir.
And we'll talk soon, brother. Take care, my man.
You
Ciao,
too.
boys.